So we're here today at the Travis Wetlands over on the east side of Christchurch to do a cultural harvesting of resources to make the taonga, the treasured items that will be going into the exhibition area for the Botanic Gardens. Some of the resources we'll be collecting in this area for harvest are raupö, which will be used to make the mokahi boat, and that was a boat that was used to get in and around the wetlands and also on our braided rivers for the journey going towards the coast. Other resources that we'll be collecting today are also the kōrari, which is the flower stalk, and that is a very light and buoyant part of the plant when it's dried, so it will support the construction, reinforcing the mokahi made out of raupö, and make it strong and durable for the journey. There's a couple of other things that can be made out of the kōrari. Spin tops, there's a recreational toy, and then you wrap your flax fibre around it and spin it and then whip it, and you have a little wee spinning top bouncing around. But today we're going to use this and prepare it for our mokahi boat. What we're going to do is take off all these flower heads, just using a knife, and just cut them off like that. And that's our length. And these will be fastened to the bundles of raupö to keep our boat afloat. Another resource that we'll be harvesting today is kakaho, and the kakaho will be worked with the raupö to make otia kites, which we use for fishing. So our kaupapa for now is to extract the fibre, which will make the rope, the tauda that's going to secure our mokahi, and we'll also be using the flax for the purpose of tying all the raupö blades together to create our boat. We're here at the harakeke now to take some of the blades off for the extraction of the fibre to make our tauda rope for the mokahi. So part of this process is to identify that the single blade in the middle is called the awhi, that's the new growth, and that's the baby leaf, and either side of it are the matua awhi, and they are the ones that you don't take off the harakeke plant because it can cause grief for the family of the plant. So we're going to work with the grandparents either side of the matua and remove them by doing a sharp, quick cut on a 45-degree angle away from the plant, so that if it rains, the water will hit the top and run down rather than go into the main part of the plant, which can cause root rot. So I have cut the blade on a 45-degree angle, and this is where we will extract the fibre out of this end of the plant. So we've taken the blade off the plant, and we're now going to take the take end, the hard butt end that has the pear, the medicine which is up the middle. I'll show you that shortly. Take it right off, and then remove your margins, your edges, and again on the back side. Split your blade, and then split into lengths and cut the ends off so that they're flush. Just going to score the back side of the harakeke, exposing the fibres under the skin, and then with our kutai shell or our kuku, holding firmly, and then removing the skin, exposing the fibre, and that's what we're after. Moka, harakeke fibre. But when you use a knife, you have to do it this way. So it's a lot easier with the shell, with the knife.
So you do it from the underneath?
It's called the top
Yeah.
side.
So when you're using a shell, you have the shell on top of the skin, and you go that way. But when you're using a knife to get the back off, you put the knife underneath and just slide it up. And then once you've got it to that stage, then you need to use a board. So there's a yellow top over there and a couple of white boards, and you just gently score the top like that without cutting into the table, and it'll just break the skin off, and then just run it off. And that's what we want, guys. Scrape at this end first, taking all that off, and then you slowly come back to your join.
So it doesn't get knotted.
So it doesn't get knotted.
Cool.
And it's so much easier. That's wonderful. So we'll plait it, like it's got to be a really tight plait, and then we'll give it a bit of a beat, and then we'll sun bleach it, and then tie it up, ready to go on our boat. You need to have roughly, absolutely, this is exactly what it is, New Zealand's equivalent to twine. So we need like 3 amounts that thick. So again, see all these little bits, even though we might not get them into this fitty, they are gold. So we'll be collecting every single little scarrick of it to use.
That's a cute one, look at that.
Yep, and the other thing is those that have done really, really well extracting it, there's also a fibre kiekie that's got to be made.
Cool,
So
right.
a lot of the stuff that's really good, we'll put aside to keep towards that, because that's like the best of the best of the best weaving that you can do is a fibre kiekie. And we're going to have one of those in the exhibition area. So it's really exciting. And 2 other of the special baskets that are going to be woven. One's going to be woven out of that stuff over there, which is kiekie.
This here is one of the most valuable resources we can get for anything to do with aranga. It's called kiekie. It's 3 times stronger than harakeke, and kiekie, because it no longer is available on our side of the motu, we actually have to go over to the west coast, get permission from the iwi, Ngāti Waiwai, and also from DOC, because it's normally in the national parks. Because we have to go on such a long hikoi to get this resource, every bit is utilised, from the scraps to the spine to anything, pretty much. It's just taonga. Now, the part we need is this spine down the middle. I'm going to do a 3 mil, it's called high. It's called our sizing. 3 mil, so it's right in the middle. It's very important that we have a uniformity to all our strands. If we don't, it gets gappy and you lose the shape of the kit or whatever item it is that you're weaving. This here is the gold of the gold. And once we've done this, we then size it into lots of 20. We tie it at the top with some harakeke so that it's a strong fibre to hold together, and then we boil it. And you can boil it from as long as 10 minutes to an hour, as long as it changes colour to a pale colour. Once it's done that, we take it out of the boiling water, a rolling boil, and then we dunk it in cold water to shock it, and then we hang it up to dry.
So this is the stuff, this is how you prepare it. After this process, you then wash it, and all the green and all the little bits of hard stuff will just wash away, and then you beat it. And it becomes this amazing, beautiful, soft, strong fibre. You just keep adding in.
Oh, so you just keep, you keep adding?
You just keep adding your fibre in. So it's starting to get a bit... Yep. So we'll grab some of this, and all you do is just lie it on top, and then bring it back. And then you have no bits of sticking out. The next process after this is 12 metres long. We'll tie a knot at the end, and we'll do a loop at the other end, and then we'll beat it. And that will ensure that all the fibres absolutely matted together, really strong. And even though it's only for exhibition, this is the traditional way that we would make a rope. Now the idea of this is, as you do your individual add-ins, it's to keep the width of the rope even, so it's not, big and chunky. And that's just easier, for your hand as you would use it. But anything that's left over, you just do a rub, a metal like this, and you're just gonna, all those little loose bits will just break off. Well, raupö was used for just about every part of the kāinga, So it was used for bedding, it was used for housing, it was used for insulation with tukutuku. You ate bread out of the pollen. And I suppose, if anything, our Ngāi Tahu whānui, our ancestors, they developed the plant a lot more because they were so reliant on it due to the area.
Yeah.
And you can use the blades for making ote kites. That's going to be one of the projects we do at the gardens in the school holidays. Make little ote kites out of the raupö and harakeke.
Okay.
Yeah. And the kakaho, we're going over the other side to harvest the toi, and that will make the frame